Okay, it's 9:30. Thank you everyone for attending today. Thank you. We've got a few people in the gallery, which is very exciting. Midway Council would like to acknowledge and pay respect to the traditional custodians of the land, the Mandurri, Naywong, Mangaraku, Narkat, Nurrunjeri and Paramount peoples of the Mid-Murray lands and waters. It is upon their ancestral lands and waters that Mid-Murray Council meets and operates, and Council pays respect to elders, past and present, and their spiritual beliefs that are of continuing importance to those First Nations peoples of today. Council further acknowledges the contributions and important role that First Nations peoples continue to play within the community, and we extend that respect to any peoples in attendance here today. And attendance, we have in the room here we have Laura coming in online. There you go. Very special thanks to Laura, who is now working at City of Charles Sturt, and a very special thanks to City of Charles Sturt for allowing her to be here in the governance capacity today. Thank you. Apologies, we have an apology from Councillor Hammond, and on leave we have Councillor Davis. I will just read out our emergency procedures. Should there be a fire or other emergency, the alarm will sound and you'll be asked to follow directions of council staff. Council meetings are live streamed through the Mid-Murray Council website. Attendance and participation in the council meeting does not provide any councillors, council employees or member of the public protection from defamation in relation to behaviour or statements made. Individual opinions or statements made during council meetings are not the opinions or statements of council. A copy of today's agenda is available on council's website. Members are reminded that if they intend to move, second, speak or ask a question during the meeting, they need to clearly indicate their intention to speak by using the microphone system. It is important that members use the microphones appropriately so that those at home can hear clearly. Members are reminded that the use of mobile phones during the meeting is not permitted, and I ask you to turn off your phones or turn them to silent. We welcome visitors in the gallery and ask them to observe the meeting in a respectful silence as the chamber deliberates on matters that relate to Mid-Murray Council. Council meetings are formal meetings that are subject to specific meeting procedures. This means that there are designated sections of the meeting with, for example, deputations, where members of the public can speak directly and interact in the meeting, with the remainder of the meeting only providing the public with an opportunity to listen to the meeting procedures and observe a role. Confirmation of minutes, that the minutes of the ordinary council meeting held on the 19th of August 2025 be taken as read and confirmed. We have a mover, Councillor Fletcher and Councillor McGregor is seconding that. Any discussion on that? If not, we will put the motion up. All those in favour, against, that's carried. Thank you. Declaration of interest, let's go around the room. Declarations of interest. Business adjourned is nil. And we have a deputation. So we have Derek from the Morgan Quarry, about the Morgan Quarry four-wheel drive vehicle training. He's from the Australian Recreational Motorists Association, and he would like to make an deputation regarding the use of Morgan Quarry for training use of four-wheel drive vehicles. Thank you, Derek. You can sit at the end of the table, so I'm going to show you how to just turn your microphone on.
Which button? All right, thank you for having me here for starters. ARMA, Australian Recreational Motorists Association, was started in 2019, basically because four-wheel drive that you've been dealing with was part of Four-Wheel Drive Australia. Four-Wheel Drive SA, Four-Wheel Drive Australia. There became so much infighting, backfighting, backstabbing, that a lot of us that were there at the time decided to break away and start afresh. ARMA is now about 4 times the size of Four-Wheel Drive Australia, because we also include clubs like caravan clubs, boating and fishing clubs, because people use their vehicles to get to where they want to go. My main section is four-wheel drive stuff. I was head trainer with Four-Wheel Drive SA. I was at one stage president of Four-Wheel Drive SA. So I've got a little bit of experience. Purpose of training is so that people can use those vehicles Some have just bought them, some have got no confidence, and etc. Safely. That is the ultimate game. Safely. Now, for use of the quarry that we're asking for, if we can just bring up that bottom part of that slide. I've got some. You'll see in red the weekends that are currently booked for use of the quarry by four-wheel drive SA. Armour would like to be able to use some of the unused weekends. Not very many, but some. For training, pure training. Right? So that's what I'm asking for. They do have the other slide there of what Armour is about. Just find it. There. Right? Set up purely for safety purposes and to make everybody able to link into things. You can go onto the Armour website and read all about it. It was too much to put up there in one go. Okay. How many of you, just think of this, how many of you have actually been into the Morgan Quarry? One. Right, so that's making it a little bit harder for you to make some thoughts about things. I do have a little AV there. Well, I won't play the whole lot of it because it's about 15, 16 minutes long, but it'll give you some idea of the type of training we do purely for safety. So if you start the sides slow on the first slide. There it goes, it'll run by itself. I don't know whether you have the audio that goes to it. Not overly great. It's only a bit of background music. This was done in 2003. My club has been going up there yet. We currently have it booked for the tail end of October, beginning of November. But these are just various pictures taken by various ones of the group. They're not all mine. There might be one or two of mine in there. I've been too busy training to. It gives you an idea of the sort of work we do. That's an awkward position for a lot of vehicles. That's a group running through one of the channels bit by bit. Now, would you like to drive over that?
Not me.
We're teaching them how to do it safely. Sometimes that means moving rocks around to put them in place, make it safe. That sort of thing. Tell me when you've seen enough.
So you've got 1 minute.
Okay.
Let council know the problem and I guess have the solution.
I had spoken to council, the workers at council before, trying to get this organised. Then we've come up against this thing that four-wheel drive SA has a unique situation with the quarry. We would like the same sort of availability of use of the quarry. It's going to benefit the area in that there's the camping fees, which is probably, when we go, it's about $1,000 worth, goes straight into the caravan park. We, as our group, the Mitsubishi Club, and I think most of the others do the same thing, go over to the hotel on a Saturday night. There goes another $1,000 worth of food, plus fuel, plus all the other little bits, pieces. And that's what it's going to help the people of your area. So we're supplying stuff to you guys. Right. Armour being Australia wide, we'd probably end up with a few clubs occasionally, say from Mildura coming down through and spending the weekend there and then to other places, etc. Not a lot of times, but there might be 3-4 times use in a year. And since it's sort of, I'm arranging stuff now, hopefully with you lot, that we'd get maybe a booking or two in the new year. Because before we know it, it's November, December, January, February, just ridiculously hot out there. It's not worth the exercise. So, yeah. Any questions?
So you've used it once?
I've used it many times,
Okay.
because of also with the Mitsubishi 4-wheel drive club, which is with 4-wheel drive SA.
Yeah.
I've also used it when I've been up there helping other clubs train.
Yeah, thank you.
So yes, I've been there. I hate to think how many times. The same as last weekend, I was down at Peak, the sand hills. This farmer got 60 to 80 acres of sand up there that he can't use for farming, but it's used just about every weekend except in the heat for 4-wheel drive training. And he probably makes more money out of that than he does at the farm.
I might just throw to Ben for a bit of context for our study.
Yeah, so there's a historic arrangement with council and 4-wheel drive SA, which is going back many, many years. And so they use the quarry. There's a process in place for their members. So the clubs that are affiliated, I think you're saying you're affiliated
Yes.
with one of them.
Yes.
And that's why you use the quarry. Where they fill out a form, they have to provide their insurances. So the association provides their insurances to council every
Yes.
year.
Armour does. It's exactly the same thing for all our clubs.
I'm just talking about the context that exists now. And so as a result of the inquiries, we're reviewing the use of the quarry, and we'll provide a further report back to council on what exactly has happened historically and the potential for it to be used by other entities. Yeah, so that's probably the context.
We don't have any further questions of Derek before we move on, and we'll wait for the report to come back to council.
So the other mob haven't got exclusive rights, have they?
So historically, so there's a community land management plan in place for the quarry. They are noted on that for a lease to be in place with 4-wheel drive SA. And so that happened back in 2007, I think. Don't quote me on exactly the dates, a long time ago. And so then that's where the arrangement started. So, you know, obviously council will have to consider whether the quarry is to be used going forward, and then is it to be opened up to other parties. But 4-wheel drive SA are noted on the community land management plan.
But I have to change.
Or there's a process, yeah. So consideration would need to be given to that council.
And all we're asking for is the same
Yeah.
situation.
Well,
Any further questions of Derek? If not, thank you very much for attending. There is
Thank
a
you.
day off of work today. He's so passionate about this course. So
Yes,
thank you,
thank you.
Derek. Thank you.
I'll leave it with it.
Thank you.
I'll see what you get up to. I have given, before you take it on, given permission that you can download that AV.
Does anyone want a copy of that AV at 16 minutes? No, speak now.
You can watch it yourselves.
Oh, good, thank you. Okay, petitions we have nil. 9.1. The recommendation is monthly financial report for August 2025 on the council agenda at 16th of September be received. We have a mover for that. Councillor Schultz, thank you, and a seconder. Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak on that?
No, but just to say, it's good to see that things aren't getting worse, they're sort of remaining static. Pleasing.
Thank you. And you would have liked that we have new loans.
Yes, I know.
Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak on that? No. Anybody else wish to speak or have any questions? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And again, that is carried. 9.2. The recommendation is the review of cemeteries and memorials policy report on the council agenda be received. The revised cemeteries and memorials policy be adopted and the CEO be authorised to make amendments of a minor and or technical nature as part of the finalisation of the cemeteries and memorial policy. We have a mover, Councillor McGregor, thank you. Seconder, Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak? No. Councillor Barber? Yes.
I've just got one thing which I think was an error on page 25. I hope I've got this right. It said that 21 out of 800 is 0.5%. Whereas actually 2.6%. When it's talking about natural burials.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions on that? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. 9.3. The recommendation is the review of the social media policy report on the council agenda be received. Council, we have a little bit of a change here. Council adopts the revised social media policy version 4. So similar to that, just getting rid of that.
And just clarification, so we don't need to revoke the policy. If we did revoke the policy, then it would be a completely new policy. So this is version 4. So that's where the change of the wording comes in.
And we're adding that the CEO be authorised to make amendments of a minor and or technical nature as part of the finalisation of the social media policy version 4. We have a movement for that. That's such a big Pete. Thank you. Councillor Warhurst is seconding that. Councillor Pete, do you speak on that?
Yeah.
No. Councillor Warhurst. No. Anybody else wish to speak? Questions, discussion, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. 10.5 is the recommendation is the INFS summary report on the council agenda be received. We have a mover for that. Councillor Myers, thank you. Councillor McGregor. Thank you, Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak? No. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, just through the mayor, just to say, nice new report, Dave. Very, very good, very, it's really great. Yep, excellent.
Thank you. Councillor Todging.
Yeah, just had a question about the remaining 2 stamp types. And if there's a plan in place yet for that.
Through the chair, there's been no real plan for those 2 yet. That's Twitter and Tunkilo. Tunkilo is very difficult to lock. It's always just remained open and there's no book there. Twitter doesn't get a lot of use. So I suppose once we've done the implementation, it may come back to council as to what we do with the future serviceability of those type of stamp types.
Yeah.
And the use, we can record the use to see how much use is actually coming out of them. And then the distance between the new stamp type new stations.
Through you, Mayor Bailey. So we'll provide another report. So I think the motion as it stands is the operations continue until a further report comes back to council. So we'll provide an update on the implementation of the 10, is it, Dave?
The 10, yes, there's 2 still outstanding.
And with the 2 outstanding, then council can make some, give some consideration and make some decisions on the future of those 2.
Just on that too, to the best of my knowledge, there's only one family that actually uses the Twitter standpipe. Excuse me. So I agree it's not well used, but I do have a question about the LED street light replacement. When is it going to happen? Because on gloomy days, the old street lights are on and that's just a waste of money, waste of power.
Through the chair, Edinburgh are going to be doing the rollout very shortly. We're just negotiating with them because they want to use their depot for storage. So we're just going through the liability factors of that so they can store all the globes and use their depot. So that's probably within the next couple of weeks. I'll start rolling that out. So we'd anticipate that'll be done through October, November.
Thank you.
Okay, any further questions, feedback, comments? I just had one, that came from the Blanchetown meeting that we attended. They just wanted to know at what point does the river become deep, like, you know, that snag at the end of the Blanchetown program? When does it become a deep problem or a council problem?
Through the chair, we're actually investigating that now. Basically, there's a lot of various authorities that look after the river, do it through the River Murray Act and the regulations. The level of responsibility, I'm working through that. Didn't normally do marine safety. So what they do is they'll highlight any snags and so they don't do any major repairs unless it's on their infrastructure. So that's what I found out so far, but I'm actually still working through who does what and what the level of responsibilities are.
Excellent. Thank you. Anybody else have any questions or wish to speak on this item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. And yes, thank you to the infrastructure team for the great work. 10.2. The recommendation is the National Veteran Vehicle Rally 2025 event application report on council agenda be received. The approval be granted to the Veteran Car Club of South Australia to hold a public vehicle display on Marianne Reserve on Monday, the 6th of October, subject to general conditions of council's minor event permit. Approval be granted for persons taking part in the event to drive and park vehicles on the lawn area of Marianne Reserve, subject to favourable weather conditions as determined by the Director of Infrastructure and Field Services, and the CEO be authorised to make minor amendments to the event logistics as required. We have a mover. Councillor Tochick and Peake and Councillor McGregor in seconding that. Councillor Tochick and Peake, do you speak? No. Councillor McGregor, no. Anybody else have any questions wish to speak? Councillor Barber.
Just through the chair, I just had one concern, how much area are they going to take up because this is on the October long weekend, so I'm just wondering how much of the reserve is going to be available to the general public.
For the chair, I'm probably not aware of how many vehicles are actually going to attend, but we can actually, I suppose, just make contact with them just to find out exactly what location they want to occupy. So it's probably something that we just need to find a little bit more out.
Thank you. Any further questions? Discussion, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that is carried. 10.3. The recommendation is that the wakeboard SA round 4 event application report on council agenda be received. Approval be granted to allow wakeboard SA to hold a wakeboarding event at the Bow Hill Riverfront Reserve on Saturday, the 6th of December 2025, subject to general conditions, council's major event permit, and the CEO be authorised to make minor amendments to the event logistics as required. We have a mover. Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor Warhurst is seconding that. Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak?
Through the chair, just related to this is the community around Bow Hill are very happy with the with what's happening down the riverfront down there, and I'm sure that'll be completely looking fabulous by the time Wakeboard SA have their event.
It's a good excuse to get it complete. Anybody else wish to speak? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 10.4. The recommendation is that the Palmer Hot Rods Classic and Custom Street Party event application report on council agenda be received. Approval be granted to enable the Palmer Events Association to hold a street party event in Palmer on Sunday the 5th of October, subject to general conditions of council's major event permit. Approval be granted for persons taking part in the event to drive and park vehicles on Adelaide Road, Palmer. Pursuant to section 33(1) of the Road Traffic Act, council declares the event described below that is to take place on the roads described below is an event in which section 33 of the Act applies, and pursuant to section 33(1)(a) of the Act, makes an order directing that the road on which the event is to be held or any adjacent or adjoining road specified below be closed to traffic from 7:30, get rid of one of the zeros AM, until 4:30 PM on Sunday, October 5th, and subject to supplement approval by Department of Infrastructure and Transport, the roads are listed there. Pursuant to section 33(1)B of the Road Traffic Act, council makes an order directing that persons taking part in the event be exempted, in relation to the roads from the duty to observe the relevant road rules specified below, and they are there. Subject to the issue of orders referred to in 4 and 5 above, Palmer Events Association or its agents and contractors be authorised to install and remove or pause the installation and removal of necessary and appropriate traffic control devices for the conduct of this event, which with all costs associated with this to be recovered by the Palmer Events Association. Council waived the road closure fee of $588 and in-flight fees as part of council's support of the event, and the CEO be authorised to make minor amendments to the road closure as required. We have a mover. Councillor Schultz, thank you. Second, Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak?
No, just it's been going many years and there's been no complaint.
Thank you. Councillor Barber.
Through the chair, I just wanted to raise one thing where we're waiving the road closure fee of $588. I'm just wondering if moving forward, council was already sponsoring the event to the value of $1,320 without that fee. So I'm wondering if moving forward, council should consider not waiving those fees in the future, because we're trying to save money when we can. If we have ongoing events where we're waiving these fees, and that quite a bit of money. So just wanted to raise that issue. So,
Through the chair, we gave consideration probably 5 months ago, I think it was, in regards to amending the matrix to where council would provide support for a local community. So we've actually just applied that rule to this one here. It may be something you might want to consider if you want to change the matrix again. But what we've done is through the event process, it's a local community, local organisation, and basically what we've done is applied what the council's adopted matrix is for the policy.
Thank you. Any further questions? Anyone wish to speak? Councillor McGregor.
Just through the mayor, not particularly about this, but just I sent Dave email just on the title thing. It says Palmer Hot Roads, should be roads. I'm not sure whether it's changed on. Okay.
Any further questions, feedback, discussion? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, that's carried. 10.5, the recommendation is the SABFAC grant funding report on council agenda be received, and that council supports the submitting of applications to the SABFAC committee for funding for the Swan Reach and Bluntdown boat ramp upgrades to support the Due River Murray Constraints Measures project, funding and timelines for these projects. We have a mover. Councillor Barber and Councillor Myers is seconding that. Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak?
Yeah, just through the chair, I think it's important that we pursue all this sort of grant funding whenever we can.
Thank you, Councillor Myers. Wish to speak? Anybody else wishing to speak on that? Have any questions, comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Yes, that is carried. 11.1. The recommendation is that the equitable access and usage policy report on the council agenda, long date, be received. Just change that 15 to 16. Council note and receive the submission summary report. The equitable access usage policy version 1 be adopted, and the CEO or nominee be authorised to make amendments of a minor and/or technical nature as part of the finalisation of the equitable access and usage policy version 1. We have a mover. Councillor Barber, thank you. I've seconded. Councillor Myers, thank you. Councillor Barber, would you speak? Yes.
Sorry, through the chair, I know I keep banging on about this, but one response to the public consultation process, it's really frustrating. I just trying to encourage more people to get involved is, yeah, it's not really happening, unfortunately.
frustrating or great, because maybe 9,000 other people thought it was a great thing, and what does Beth say? You don't ring Telstra to say thanks, my phone is working. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak? No? Does anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions? And maybe we all just need to work a little bit harder to make sure people are seeking our consultation. If there's no further questions, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. 11.2. The recommendation is that the bylaw number 8, Mid-Murray Council miscellaneous amendment bylaw 2025 report on the council agenda be received, and the draft bylaw number 8, Mid-Murray Council miscellaneous amendment bylaw 2025 be endorsed for public consultation in accordance with the Local Government Act 1999, Council's public consultation policy and communication plan. We have a mover. Councillor Subject McPeak, thank you. Seconder, Councillor McGregor, thank you. Do you wish to speak on this? Councillor Subject McPeak.
Good, Matt. Just a question about its bylaw number 8, and replacing, well, amending bylaw number 6. So when that's all happened, does bylaw number 8 become bylaw number 6?
Yeah, through the chair, yes, it does.
Oh,
It was hard for non-legal people to get that. It took me a few readings.
Yeah.
Any further questions? Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak?
No, I have that on mine.
Excellent. Anyone else have any questions, comment, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. Thank you.
Good contribution,
Yeah. 12.1. The recommendation is PS Canali outstanding engineering jobs and costings report on the council agenda be received, and that council authorise the expenditure of up to $22,000 for the outstanding engineering jobs required to enable PS Canali to be fit for purpose and operational, listed in the PS Canali outstanding engineering job and costings report on the council agenda. And I remember Councillor Myers, thank you. Councillor McGregor is seconding that. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak on that?
No,
No, thank you. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak? Anybody else? Yes, Councillor Schultz.
I'm just wondering, when this is all complete, does that mean that the canal is going to be operational and possibly a time frame on that?
Yeah.
Through Mayor Bailey and Councillor Myers might be able to give some additional feedback. So that'll complete the repairs required. There's still a surveying process that needs to occur for it to be endorsed. And correct with the technical word, Kevin, but for it to be able to carry passengers. So once it gets to surveying, then it is able to be operational. Obviously, there's other things that need to be in place around logistics for it to be able to cruise and take passengers. So we're hopeful in the new year, once everything's in place, that we'll be able to have minds. Do you want to update?
it's all in the hands of the surveyor now. The boat is actually operational. We've got a new engineer that is fixing problems from a previous one. But as I say, it's all in the hands of the surveyor. But we must respect the rights of the surveyor that's doing this, is doing it for free. Normally, if he was to charge you to survey the vessel, you're probably looking at $50,000-$60,000. But he's got a love for heritage vessels, and he does it for free in his own time. So,
It's amazing. Thank you. Please pass on council's feedback, but we really appreciate the effort and time he's putting into getting this beautiful historic boat on the river carrying passengers. Any further questions, comments, feedback? No, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that be carried. Thank you. 12.2. The recommendation is the policy review report on the council agenda be received. The support for national commemorations and celebrations policy version 1 be revoked. The updated complaints policy version 3 be endorsed, and the CEO be authorised to make amendments of a minor and or technical nature as part of the finalisation of the complaints policy. We have a mover. Councillor Myers, thank you. Councillor McGregor is seconding that. Councillor Myers, did you speak? No. Councillor McGregor, no. Anybody else wish to speak or have questions or comments? Councillor Barber?
Through the chair, I just had one question. Is this gonna make any changes to the commemorations and celebrations? That we have been taking part in?
Through Mayor Bailey, no. So we just didn't feel that we needed a policy to be able to say this is what we're doing, so we'll manage them through operationally. They'll be budgeted as they have been in the past, and council will provide feedback if they want to change any of our events. So the council involvement and support won't change unless council makes a decision. Just don't think we need a policy for it.
Thank you. Any further questions, comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? Against, so it's carried. 12.3.
So there's some things.
Yeah, so we've had a bit of discussion, and there has been an alternate, motion put up. Suspend, yeah, we might suspend the meeting for 10 minutes, have a discussion. Just a lot of heads if you're happy to suspend 10 minutes. That's everyone, perfect, okay.
So maybe through Bailey, just to give us some context, so we received correspondence from the Murray-Darling Association around the national plan for dealing with carp. Obviously, this has been going on for a long period of time. There's been plenty of research done. I think 3 or 4 years ago, it looked like it was going to be implemented, and then there was some concerns raised. And so it sort of hasn't progressed. So we formed this report as a process, as part of that process for the recommendation from the association. And that was what formed the basis of the report. There's been some questions and some discussions around this concern raised, so thought it was appropriate. We have prepared an alternative recommendation as well, one obviously supporting, which was in there. The association and us writing to the government to say, let's get on with it, versus concern around whether we've got enough information to be able to put that in principle support in place. So that's why there's two alternative, an alternative recommendation being drafted. So that gives you the context, happy to answer any questions. And I think Mayor Bailey's got some background from the Murray-Darling Association meeting.
Yes, yes, just a few people know because we discussed it when the Murray-Darling Basin Authority came. And one of my questions to the CEO was, you know, are we ready for this? Because I was a little bit concerned that in the last Murray-Darling Association meeting, the CEO of that actually just made a sort of an off the cuff, you know, remark that, oh, by the way, all councils have been sent this letter to, you know, put something through your meetings. But it wasn't actually discussed in the meeting, and from questions that I've asked, it hadn't really been discussed through our Region 5, and I've also asked the Region 6, and it hadn't been discussed. Region 6, Mesh Thorley, the chair, said he's very concerned and he will not be supporting it. And yeah, the more questions I asked, like I said, I asked the CEO of the Murray-Darling Basin Authority when they came out here last week, and he said that we're not ready for it. We haven't got enough research, and it is really dangerous or risky, you know, to be pushing something that we don't know if it's going to affect the sheep that are drinking out the river and the other cattle. So it just seems like, although most of us would be for trying to rid the carp, do we do it hastily and not put all the risks, or do we do it in a really prepared fashion to make sure that, especially the end of the river, after Murray Bridge and Coorong, don't end up with all of the mess and no commitment to clean that up. So when I saw this, I was a little bit nervous about us, I'm very nervous about us providing in principle support without having all of that detail. Anybody else have any questions or comments?
Yeah. Yeah, I went to the meeting with the Murray-Darling Authority, with some of the rest of the
Murray-Darling
Basin Authority.
Just sorry to interrupt.
No.
Does everyone understand the difference? So the formal authority, Murray-Darling Basin Authority, so that's the government entity. And then the Murray-Darling Association is a membership-based organisation of interested parties like local government. Yeah, sorry to interrupt.
And I did ask the authority about, you know, how much sway this association has, and he basically said, we kind of use it as to get to councils, you know, to make sure that we're speaking to them. And we do pay for membership, and part of the revised motion is that we have a review of this and have a re-discussion, because I am concerned if things are going to council without discussion in these groups, why do we even have to consider this?
Yeah, so I've raised there as well, the concern about that, in addition to the animals drinking and all that kind of thing, actual disposal. If there are loads and loads of fish killed, how do they dispose of it safely? You can't use it for fertilizer when you're buying food if they've been poisoned, you know, so there's a lot of questions still, I think, to be answered.
Yeah, just to remember, yeah, I was really concerned when I sort of read this sort of thing. And we acknowledge that the carp are a pest and are in, you know, causing some issues, but there was too many unanswered questions when you sort of dive into it further. And yes, there was a lot of attached documents, and that, but most of them are no later than 2019. And we've had quite a few things happen since then. And it does sort of say the risks of, you know, algal bloom and a whole lot of sort of things. It's like, you know, when we've got Senate inquiry already in the algal bloom, it just doesn't sit well. That I did ask a question of what LGA's views were and PERSA, and we don't know, you know. So it's sort of like, it seems if we give him principal support, then we're not taking into consideration what's happening there. So it's just a bit concerning. I know the last time this was brought to us, we were concerned about the clean, so it was the last term of council, about the cleanup of the fish and all that sort of stuff, and that it would be responsibility of council, I think, and everything. So we weren't in favour of it then, from memory. Yeah, so there's still a lot of things that need to be taken into consideration, and if we have a heat wave, that sort of, you know, there's all the unknowns, I suppose. So yeah, I'm happy if we, you know, don't give him physical support.
Maybe, and this is just a suggestion, depending on what council wants to go, there's obviously two different motions, and someone might move that if someone does go down the path, the alternate motion, we could potentially add right into the LGA, the PERSA, to get their position on that, which we would do anyway, but council may consider whether they want to formalise that process as well.
So I was going to ask our MDA rep about the discussions, but yeah, but you sort of said that there's not been a discussion. We would expect that this government council. Yes.
That's a fair point. Maybe just to understand the governance. So each region of the Murray-Darling Association has a region. So we're currently in Region 5. And so that's where they have meetings and discussions and recommendations are made and passed back to the council. So there's a number of regions across the basin.
So Region 5 is the Riverland Councils plus us, and then Region 6 goes down. And then there's a Region 7, which is like Unley or Mitcham, you know, like some councils that use water and want to be able to have some buy-in to what's happening with Murray.
Many years ago, we were in Region 6.
Yeah, and that's sort of what we have this review, and then we can have those discussions.
Yeah.
And we have the information. So yeah, the alternate one, I think I've seen everyone sort of reading that. Everyone happy to go back into meeting, and somebody moves something, or anyone need any further? Nobody needs further time. We will go back into meeting. And would someone like to move something? Councillor McGregor.
Yes, I would like to move the alternate motion with the added thing that we write to LGA and PERSA and find their thoughts on it.
So maybe 0.4, Carol. Yeah.
Fine, we'll go to here, right, our darling, so.
Sorry, well, I would put a new point in there and just say, council right to the LGA and PIRSA to, establish their position or to understand the
We get that feedback.
get their feedback, yeah. Yes. Obtain feedback, well, yeah, the word. On the proposal. Happy with that, Laura?
Yep. Okay,
That's
so
what I moved.
I mean, Carol's with your hand to the. Yeah.
thank you. I'll just read it out so everyone's very aware of what is being moved. The in-principle support for the funding and implementation of the National Carp Control Plan and its recommendations report on the council agenda be received. Council notes the request for in-principle support from the Murray-Darling Association for the federal government to fund and implement the National Carp Control Plan and its recommendations, however, is unable to support the request without additional information being provided. The Mayor and CEO be authorised to write to the Murray-Darling Association on behalf of council to raise its concerns. Council write to the LGA and PIRSA to obtain their feedback on the proposal, and a review of council membership of the Murray-Darling Association be undertaken with a report provided to council for its consideration. Happy with that one. Have we got a seconder for that? Councillor Farmer, thank you. Do you wish to speak on the motion? No, anybody else wish to speak or have any questions? If not? No? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. Temporary relocation of council meetings to Canberra. There is some additional information that I just want to discuss with council about school visits. So if everyone's okay, we'll go out of meeting procedures for 5 minutes, just to have a bit of a chat on this. Okay, on the heads, if you're okay, we'll go out for 5 minutes. So what I just wanted to add is the Manning Community College did want to come to the chamber to do a bit of a civics course on local government, and they did have 2 different dates and times agreed upon, and one was, I think, Monday, and unfortunately just couldn't get things prepared. So they've actually asked to come in the 2nd week of the school term in October, which is just after our council meeting. They won't be able to come if we've started, moving everything, but basically they want to see how it's set up. I'm okay either way. They've already had their opportunity, but weren't able to take it. So I just thought I'll throw it to council to see if we just want to move things for 4 weeks to allow that to happen, but then also can add administration's view on that side.
So, thank you, Mayor Bailey. So the plan is to start works. I've got to go down. I think they're going down on Thursday to order everything. So until we knew exactly what was happening, we know what we need, and we've got a plan in place. Obviously, the carpet needs to be ripped up and the cupboards and table moved and all those things. And so that process will start as soon as we can. That may, if we do delay it, it may impact the timeframes. Obviously, our plan and agenda is to get it done before Christmas, so we can start the new year back in here. But obviously, we want to be able to support the school because we want to encourage people to understand what council do, and hopefully maybe aspire to be an elected member or to work in councils as well. So there is that dilemma. Unfortunately, that potentially will delay it by 4 weeks because we won't be able to do any work prior to that visit. As Mayor Bailey mentioned, there were 2 dates, including one yesterday, that have been proposed, but for whatever reason that it hasn't worked. Obviously, school holidays is in there as well. So that potentially impacts why they can't come to us the next October meeting. We would be able to potentially see if we could do something over the next 2 weeks, but I don't know whether they've got the availability to do that. And then school holidays. So realistically, that would delay the process in place if we did delay it by the 4 weeks. So it's a bit of a balance between what the priorities are. Then look, the bottom line is that the project will happen. Christmas will occur, and that is going to be impactful because tradies will stop working. So it could delay it, whether they shut down for January, we don't have that information yet. Our initial objective is to try to deliver it within this year. So, something the council would consider. As part of this.
I'm just wondering, would it be possible, would they consider having a school trip and visit the Canberra Council
I think
chambers?
so.
Unfortunately, it's 2 classes, and so it would be literally a 5-minute walk down here to do their half-an-hour class and then back, and then the next class is in the afternoon, so literally they'd lose a whole day's work if they had to do.
The kids would like.
Yeah, the kids.
There's like a pool at the
Clive, do
same
you
time.
want to add anything from a limitations?
Yeah, just probably just through the chair. There is like a reconfiguration of where the IT personnel, Darren, and are going down to see whether there's a setup which we will mimic, but they do actually have microphones in the ceiling. So previously that hasn't worked, and we probably got rid of those probably about 4 years ago. So we just want to check the configuration. So we have kind of delayed ordering the hardware because we wanted to see that demonstration, because we don't want to buy something and it'd be a waste of money for a council. So if we're going to change the configuration, so we put a hold on the that hardware until that point of time. So either way, it's we'll probably need 3 meetings basically to be wiped out.
So potentially delaying it pushes it into January, and then potentially means that given the break in the work, it might not be completed, and we might not be back until February. Look, and that may happen anyway because we know what happens with trade, so I don't want to say that. Yeah, so it's really council.
The other thing is we could, take October out, leave November, December, and then in the December meeting, review whether we need January and February. Like, there's no reason why council can't make another decision to add 2 more meetings to that.
The question is, obviously, we want to support this program, whether we want to wait 4 weeks, given that opportunity, given the circumstances that we're at. While we're having talked about this, obviously it changes the report.
Yes.
Changes the.
Okay, we're out of 5 minutes. Does anyone need extra time, or are we happy to go back into meeting and have the discussion in the meeting? Yep, all right, so we'll go back into meeting now. And would somebody like to move a motion?
George, it looks like you want to speak.
I don't know
Go on,
what to say,
Councillor
no words are
Waters.
coming out.
Do it.
I am happy to move a motion if we change it to push it back to include the school, to give the school the opportunity to come in and view it. Because if we can convince just one kid to come and be a councillor or work for the council, I think we've done our job. So if we push it back, and like we've sort of just discussed, it potentially is going to be pushed back anyway. So maybe I'm being a bit naive, but what's 4 weeks in the scheme of it? Yeah. So
Excellent. So we'll take October out of that. Do you want to add January, or do we want to have the report come back to the December meeting to decide whether we need 1 or 2 more meetings?
Clive, what are your thoughts?
yeah.
I think it's probably would be best to put January in there, and you can do the reverse if you need
True,
to
yeah.
also.
Yeah, let's pop
Perfect.
January in there.
So I will read the recommendation: the temporary relocation of council meetings to Canberra and change of January 2026 council meeting date, report on the council agenda be received. Council meeting scheduled to be held on the 18th of November, 16th of December and 27th of January. Be held in the council chambers on the main street, Canberra, commencing at 9:30 a.m. And the January, or does number 2 need to go?
It changes that circumstances.
So number 3 be number 2, and then. So the January 2026 ordinary meeting of council be rescheduled, be held on the 4th Tuesday of the month, being 27th of January 2026, commencing at 9:30 a.m. And leave out in the principal office.
Yeah.
Yeah. in. Yeah, and then number 3. Change the location. Are you happy with that, Lisa? Yeah, wonderful. Do we have a seconder for that? Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor Warhurst, do you wish to speak on that motion? No. Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak on that motion? No. Anybody else wish to speak or have any questions on that motion? Councillor McGregor?
Yeah, just through the mayor. As long as we just advise the school that we have made these changes to encourage them to come. And so,
Very good point.
yeah,
Very good
yeah,
point.
so they need to be aware of that. Yeah, and honour that commitment.
Thank you.
Through the chair, our IT coordinator wouldn't be happy if we,
No,
we change, make the
yeah,
changes. And
yeah.
we did our, always happy.
Carol and I will talk to the teacher and make them aware that we changed the meeting to make sure that this did happen.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Any further questions, discussion, comments? Anyone wish to speak? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that will carry. 12.5, recommendation is CEO's monthly report on a council agenda be received. We have a mover. Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor Warhurst, thank you. Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak?
Through the chair, good job, Ben.
Councillor Warhurst. I had to look a different way this time. Anybody else wish to speak on that? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. Thank you, Ben. All ready to do. Answering all of our questions on a Sunday. 12.6, the recommendation is the motion action list report on the council agenda be received. Do we have a movement for that? Councillor Schultz, thank you. And a seconder. Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor Schultz, do you wish to speak? No. Councillor Barber, no. Anybody else wish to speak or have any questions? Councillor McGregor.
Yeah, just through the mayor. I just wanted to ask, is the Shira implements that are on there, there's still the election list, aren't they? They're on a parcel of land that we're considering.
No,
They're not?
no,
Okay,
they're on, they are on private land.
okay, that's right.
Yeah.
That's
So
fine.
that parcel of land where they are was sold.
Okay, yeah. Cool.
There's a council parcel next to
Okay,
where they
and
are.
that's not the one we're looking at. In the future.
That one is
Okay,
council parcel land.
Yeah.
It's on the list.
yeah,
If you're
okay,
referring to,
It doesn't have it.
no,
okay, all right.
no farming equipment on it.
That's right. And just as I was going through, looking at sort of back things, the land rationalisation strategy, is that on our motion action list, the development of that strategy, or?
I need to take that on.
Okay.
Fine.
Thank you. Any further questions? Comments, feedback? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 13.1. Recommendation is a review of the public CCTV, Wi-Fi and PA services report on council agenda be received and council undertakes consultation with the community on the public CCTV, Wi-Fi and PA services in accordance with council's public consultation policy and the engagement plan, seeking feedback on the expectations of this service provision. We have our mover, Councillor Barber, and a seconder. Councillor McGregor, thank you. Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak?
Through the chair, just had one question. Does the Bow Hill barbecue area system still work? Because I'm not aware of anybody in the area using it. And also the Neil Dotty service, the Neil Dotty Hall, I believe made inquiries to council regarding whether that service could be moved to the hall so they could use it.
Just through the chair, where at the Neil Dotty, it was actually available from the store and not the hall. And Bow Hill, area, barbecue area, we're unsure whether, that's operational. We assume that it's operating, but we did do some monitoring of it and hadn't been used for a period of time.
We're just reviewing that technology. We're reviewing that technology at the moment.
I guess a lot of feedback might come out as part of that as to whether the communities use it or want it. And
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Councillor McGregor, you wish to speak?
Yes. Yeah, it's through the mayor. I think it's sort of, in relation to the Wi-Fi and that, when that was sort of set up, it was before the time when everyone had Wi-Fi on their phones and, we can sort of access it more readily than we could when it was sort of first developed. And also the telephone boxes now, you can access Wi-Fi there, so I think it's good to review that. Yeah, it'd be interesting to see the CCTV in Main Street because I think that is probably essential, but yeah, it'd be interesting to see what feedback we get. Yeah, so, and to do with the screens, I'm that I have been concerned that originally the idea was that you could access the information and also pay bills and everything like that, but I'm not sure whether they've actually been enabled to do that because there's more that haven't been working than have been in my view. So yeah, so good to review that.
We look forward to the consultation.
Absolutely.
Any further?
Just- Yep, through the mayor. It just raised a question for me with the community engagement. I know community engagement needs to be broad and general to everybody, but there are specific sites that are going to be affected by this. So I didn't know whether there could be a category of the engagement that maybe just targets those areas for even as kind of pop-up. Do you want to talk about it? I don't know. Just a thought that there are particular groups that might have a view on this, as opposed to everybody having a view, even though they're all entitled to say something.
They're all paying for it.
Yeah.
Two things, so every ratepayer has the opportunity to do it because obviously they contribute to it.
Yeah.
But there's an engagement plan attached to that, which I would assume that those groups have been identified in that.
Very good, thank you. Any further questions, comment, discussion? Anyone wish to speak on this item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. Yeah. 13.2. Do I want to go out of meetings to discuss or? Yeah. There's been lots of questions on this item, so we might just take a break from meeting procedures for 15 minutes to discuss. Can we just have a nod of heads if you agree with taking a break from meeting procedures? Yes. First. Okay, so we'll go out for 15 minutes. You want to start?
Sure, yeah. So obviously, firstly, I would like to acknowledge all the work that's gone into this, Vicky and her spreadsheet, and imagine, and those that were able to review the spreadsheet, we note that it was a bit small, but there's obviously we've got 402 parcels. They are either Crown land that we have care and control, they're ours, they have community land status or the community land status is revocated, they have a lease, they have building improvements, which is either a building or a structure. So there's a lot of work and information that needs to be collated. So we've gone through that process and we've identified and recommended to council that we work through this in a systematic way, where we look at those parcels that are ours, but have community land status. So that's a lengthy process that has to go through the minister. I think there's 85 of those and 69 of those don't have leases on them. Then there's the parcels of land that are ours that have community land status being revocated. And then there's those parcels of land that have buildings or leases involved in it. So we split it up into three. Well, that's what the recommendation is. 3 elements to say council endorses. We go through the process to revocate community land status. And so that report will come back to council. As you might remember, the community land status revocation process not only is lengthy, but there has to be a templated report on every single parcel of land that needs to be provided. And I can't remember, I think it's about 6 to 10 pages per item. And so one of the things we'll talk about is timelines and implementation of this. So there's that process of work to come back. Then we've identified some parcels of land where we think that they can be actioned pretty quickly. They are council land and community land has been revocated, so they're itemised in the report. I will note that few of those 3 are actually already being endorsed by council as part of the previous process. So the ones at Young Husband are in there. And then we feel there's a piece of work to be done with the community groups or interested parties that may have a lease, or do have a lease on those council lands that are already being revocated. But they obviously have some tenure on that to see whether they're interested in divesting, purchasing or having the building vested to them as well, because that might be beneficial to council because of the ongoing maintenance and the cost and depreciation, Clive, which is a real issue for us. And Clive working through that process at the moment because our depreciation after revaluation is significantly increased, which is a P&L issue for us. And then there's parcels of land that also will have community land on it, status not revocated, that have a lease as well on that space. So we think there's sort of 3 areas need to be progressed. I'm very mindful of the timeframes and the commitment for council to want to have this decided in this term of council. Unfortunately, we can't control the minister, and so that's going to be a bit of an issue as well. One of the other challenges we have is the amount of consultation required as part of this process. There's 2 elements to that. One, we have to consult broadly with all of the interested parties, being the council, the ratepayers and residents of the region. And part of that, because it's very strict guidelines on community land, is concern around consultation fatigue. So if and our suggestion we'll talk about is breaking this into segments. So we're not going out on 69 parcels or 80 parcels, but maybe breaking them into smaller manageable chunks. But mindful of we're going out every month with 15 parcels. Now those parcels could be broken up into areas. So they might be relevant to the north, or they might be relevant to a Manham. But it doesn't mean that every ratepayer and resident doesn't have the opportunity to provide feedback. And to Councillor Barber's point, we get inundated with feedback when we go through these processes. And now this is going to be big because there might be something like we experienced in Cambrai, where there was a parcel of land and there was a community who were really keen, and that's the whole point of the process. And so they were able to provide council feedback for them to be able to make some decisions, and that parcel of land was removed from the process. So yeah, there's the timelines, there's breaking into segments or chunks, consultation fatigue, and then the meeting schedule with the community groups, because as you know, the community groups meet once a month, making sure that we're having good conversations with them, because we can't just meet with one representative. We've actually got to consider and provide feedback, because that'll determine what council does with a building, for example. It could be a community hall, the community organisation do want it, then that obviously is how we present that to council versus, oh, we don't want to maintain, we don't have the funds, we can't organise meetings, so we can't organise the maintenance of the building. So that probably gives you some context. Obviously, we want to progress this as quickly as possible. I understand the frustration, but it's a resourcing issue as well. And given the resources we have internally, we're progressing as fast as possible. As you were aware, we did try to identify some external support to do this, but it's a very esoteric process where you need to have the understanding of the parcels and the consultation. Doesn't mean there's not people out there that can't help us with this, and we'll try to identify that. If you've got any ideas, please let us know, so we can fast track that. But in Vicky and I's discussions, we think this is a 6-month process from where we are today to where we are, and we'll present that back to council. So part of the recommendation is that the revocation process starts, and we will provide a report back to council at the October council meeting, which would include timelines and implementation of how we achieve this. Now, that does create some challenges, given the desire for this council to make decisions in certain areas, and there will be absolutely the ability to make decisions quicker. The challenge will be around the community land revocation process. So that hopefully gives you some
And there's
context.
an election in there, if we have to get a local government side, I'll check.
Yeah, and well, as we know, we were able to fast track one through some advocacy in a few weeks, but I think it was 6 months for the other parcels or lands to come back. The other element on this is the Office for Local Government are the ones that provide advice to the minister. So the minister only gets the advice and makes a decision at the end point. Through those parcels, I think we had 8 parcels of land. The amount of questions we got back on those parcels of land back and forth was extensive as well. I think the Office of Local Government's only got 2 or 3 staff. Is that right, Rody? So yeah, they're not a well-resourced process as well. So not here to make excuses. They're just the challenges and the reality of the situation of what we're presenting with. So happy to have any questions.
So
yeah.
then point 3 in the, point 3 has all of the properties. Can the 3 young husband properties be taken out, being that we've already made a decision on those?
Yeah.
properties?
So the CTs are different, and that's just a process that happens when land titles officers make changes. So no, I don't think they need to be endorsed again. They're the same properties, it's just got a different CT. So that's the 3 young husband ones. So yeah, over to council for any questions or discussions.
Yeah, and I think there are 2 sets, right? I agree with everything, I understand everything that you've said about those that need revoking. Then there's a set that have been revoked already.
Yep.
So, and then there's this previous set that's already been revoked and approved by council back in January for actual disposal. So I think there's 3 different sets of properties, parcels for consideration. And so my question is, one is, can we have a clear timeline on disposal of those parcels of land that we approved for disposal January? That would be that timeline. Item 1, it's the low hanging fruit in a sense. And then you've got the ones that don't need to go through the revocation process and determining which ones of those are available to consider for then community. They need to go. They don't need to go.
Which is this set that we're looking at today.
Well, no, there's more, aren't there? That are.
Yes,
no
it's 23
longer-
parcels. So can I
Yeah.
answer your first question?
Yeah,
So out of the 8 parcels that council has already approved, one's already been sold. One's been involved with the Manor Waters boat ramp thing. So that's in process. And 3 others have been determined that they can't be sold or they've got infrastructure now on them. So there's 3 left out of that 8 that haven't been sold or have changed in circumstances, can be progressed.
Okay.
Yep. So
Yep.
that's that first part. So what I'm hearing is that we want a timeline on when can we get rid of those 3 or test the market,
yeah,
because the market will decide whether they're
Yeah.
purchasable.
Yeah.
So there's 3 of the original 8. So we can progress that and give you a timeline on that. There's 23 parcels of land that we have identified as council land that we can progress. Out of that 23, we've identified 12. Confuse you, which 3 of those are already the ones from past.
yes,
So there's another 9.
yes.
My math right, Vicky? Probably lost.
Got my calculator.
Let me just, sorry, I'll go back to the report.
Who's on first?
Yes, thank you, Georgia, you've got the math.
That's what.
What's on second? So yeah, 12, so now 9. So we can, it's 12 because there's 3 from before. We can progress them now.
Yep.
Yep, they're listed there in the recommendation, actually, and the 3 from the last process. We'll go back and forth for public consultation to go, what are your thoughts? So we can turn them around pretty quickly.
So in terms of having a timeline plan next month, it'd be really good to include those so that people can see that we actually are progressing and that we have a plan and even some kind of timeline. It doesn't matter if it, of course, it's going to flow over into next term of council, because it's a huge project. And also, if you release too much stuff for sale onto the market in our region, then is that going to reduce the value? We, you know, even if we could, we won't be going there, but you know what I mean? There's some validity in that, in a staged, stepwise process of release.
It's not a fire sale.
No, no, it's not a fire sale.
We're
exactly.
going to be mindful of the section 184 process as well. That it's hopefully closing out, Clive, and lawyers and real estate agents go back and forth on finalising the vendor statement.
Yeah, and unfortunately, we've still got 2 registered instruments where we can't get a response from those owners of those instruments of how much money is outstanding, which is, and that's been outstanding since the start of July, which is frustrating.
And just clarification, not to talk about another topic now, and I put it in there. That's around the owners of the instruments being, whether it's emergency services levy or whether it's the
These are
bank or
private mortgages, like mortgages or people that have owned by faulting of payments for those people,
sorry to bring in another topic.
So just in terms of informing the public, I think it's handy to be clear that there are some aspects of this that are beyond out of our control. That's well, you know, it's just about communicating to the public, really.
So, I'm glad those 3 have been taken out for the first time. Thank you. Whereas I looked at them and sort of the later numbers didn't add up, which is good. I have, as I've gone through the list, there's a few queries as to things that are in the list, the leases and everything like that. It's a fairly sensitive thing. You're happy if I forward them to you and Vicky, so they can sort of be
You would love to
included in there, that.
And Councillor Churchill
Thank you.
has suggested an additional change in
Oh,
motion where it asks for a report back. So if you do that, then like that might get.
Okay, no problem. And just the other one I was just going to ask is in our original sustainability measures report that we, back in September 2023, there was a couple of parcels of, quite a few parcels of land that were all vacant land, about 24 parcels, and they were all on, pretty much on riverfront, sort of larger parcels of land. I'm just wondering where they sit in all of this, because we haven't, they're vacant land. I don't think they have any community or land on them.
Oh, without that information, I can't respond to
Yeah,
that. So
yeah,
if you
so I just
provide-
had that last night, so.
if you can provide us that, we can
Yeah, go on, Rose.
take on notice.
That would be really great, because that, it seemed to indicate that they were ready to go, and they're bigger parcels of land that would be readily snapped up rather than, or they have a good, probably a good value to them. So, yeah.
So our 15 minutes is up. Does anyone else have anything that they need to continue out of meeting? If not, we will go back into the meeting. So
Just very quickly, if I can. With the consultation fatigue, you mentioned, you're referring to the public or the staff?
Public.
Right.
always.
We have fatigue all the time.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's just, if we're gonna ask constantly questions around this topic and other topics, I think, you know, we try to look at our timeframes around when we're doing it. So I think there was periods a few months ago where we had 4 or 5 consultation processes going on.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that contributes to it, but could contribute to our lack of feedback, which is very mindful of that.
But I think people need to realise that we are trying to make some significant changes in
And
this.
that's for
town
us as
council.
well, that message, yeah.
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 Okay, we'll go back to meeting now. We have a motion that's slightly changed, so I will read it out. So the Council Land and Buildings Review Report on the Council agenda be received. Council endorsed pursuant to section 194 of the Local Government Act 1999, the commencement of the process to consider revocation of community land status over selected council owned land. That's what these ones have.
Which one is this 2?
Yeah.
The 2 is, that is the community land status
Okay.
issue. Yep, so
All right, over selected council owned land with a view of divestment of these proposed parcels, and that a report be provided to the October council meeting with an implementation plan and in timeline for the process. Council endorses public consultation to be undertaken in accordance with the council's public consultation policy and the engagement plan on the potential divestment of the following parcels of land which are not classified as community land. And we have 9 parcels there. We'll take out those yellow ones that we've already done this process for. Council supports the process being undertaken to ascertain the interest of relevant parties on the potential purchase or vesting of council-owned lands and buildings, and the CEO be authorised to take necessary steps to facilitate the progress of the above processes. Do we have a mover? Councillor Toby, thank you. Councillor Barber, thank you. Would you like to speak on that? No?
Yeah.
Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak?
Through the chair, just after that discussion that we had, I just want to thank Vicky and whoever else is going through all the paperwork. Didn't realise there was that much involved in it, so thank you for going through all that.
Yes. Thank you, Vicky. Anybody else wish to speak? Councillor Schultz?
I've just got a question on Corks Hill Road. I think it's got an S in it actually. Corks Hill Road. That's all right. There's an old building on there that used to be a council office. Years ago, I heard that that building was housing all the records of the District Council of Sudan. I'm just wondering, are they still in there or what? Does anyone know? Because that, I mean, that's part of history, you know. It'd be good that if they're not be lost.
Just through the chair, to my knowledge, there isn't any more records there. All the records have been moved to the Manning Works Depot, and we're probably halfway through the process of going through those and basically archiving the ones that we need to archive. Yep.
I just done a quick Google and it looks like pork.
It comes up on Google Maps as Cork, and I'm sure it's Corks Hill Road on the signpost there.
Okay, the team will look into that. Any further questions, comments, discussion on this item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour, and again, so carried. Thank you. 14.1, minutes of the Mid-Murray Council Assessment Panel meeting held on the 25th of August be received, and the minutes of the Mid-Murray Council Assessment Panel meeting held on the 25th of August be received. Yes, and our other report be received, yes. Councillor McGregor is moving that. And we've got a seconder, Councillor Barber, thank you. Councillor McGregor, do you wish to speak? No, Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak? Anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions, feedback, discussion on this item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. 14.2, the minutes of the Mid-Murray Heritage and Maritime Committee meeting held on the 28th of August 2025 report on the council agenda be received and the minutes be received. We've got movement for that. Councillor Myers, Councillor Touch completed seconding. Councillor Myers, do you wish to speak on that? No, Councillor Touch. No, anybody else wish to speak? Have any questions, feedback, discussion? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 15.1, monthly mayor's report on the council agenda 16th of September being received. We have a mover on that. Councillor Waterhouse.
Second that.
Thank you. Councillor Barber is seconding. I do have a slight amendment just to remove the 15th of September Mid-Murray Council visit from the school because they didn't come. Councillor Warhurst, do you wish to speak on that?
No.
Thank you. Councillor Barber, do you wish to speak?
Just through the chair, good job, Steve.
Thank you. Anybody else wish to speak on that item or have any feedback, discussion or questions? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour and against, that is carried. 16.1, elected members monthly report on the council agenda 16th of September be received. Do we have a mover? Councillor McGregor, Councillor Warhurst is seconding that. Would you like to speak?
Just read them in. I did send some amendments through to Carol. So the CAP meeting I attended via Zoom, not in person yesterday. And also adding a session on the 11th of September with the Alba Masterclass with the former Lord Mayor of Melbourne. Yeah, purpose-driven, thriving in public office. It was really good.
Anybody else wish to speak? Councillor Lopez.
Sorry, I also have just sent through some amendments to Carol too. I did not attend the Madam Community College Governing Council. It was cancelled at the last minute. I did also attend on the 10th of September, the Mid-Murray Council, the female change room facility consultation meeting. And then on the 11th of September, I also attended the Murray-Darling Basin Authority Lower Murray visit as well. So just some amendments there.
Okay, anybody else have any? Councillor Schultz.
I'll have to do a 2-in-1 next month. Sorry.
Thank you. Anybody else have any feedback, questions, discussion on that item? If not, we'll put that motion up. All those in favour? And against, that is carried. 17 motions with notice there are nil, 18 questions with notice there are nil, 19 questions without notice. Does anybody have any questions without notice of a strategic nature? If not, we will move on. 20.1 is a confidential item on the update of the TTEG claim. Will somebody wish to move us into confidence? Councillor Myers, thank you. Councillor Arnold, thank you. Anyone wish to speak? If not, we'll put that motion up for vote. All those in favour? Against? Can I say that again? All those in favour of going into confidence and against, that is carried. Thank you. Thank you. So the next meeting will be held at the Manor Council Chambers, Adelaide Road Manor at 9:30 AM on Tuesday, the 21st of October. Somebody knew what we were going to think. I declare the meeting closed 11:02 AM. Thank you, everyone.